I am Agus Casanovas, founder of the Institute of Lean Management. Welcome to all of us to the Lean BIM project construction management session. The topic to develop now is how to take synergies between Lean. As you know, it's a powerful model of business management based on customer orientation, cultural change, based on people, continuous improvement from below for operative questions, and continuous improvement from the top for a strategic question using the hosting country of Toyota methodology, and also design and management of buffers. BIM is a powerful technological tool for space design, structural design, for procurement, management, on-site activities, coordination, to control the cost, facility, use, and maintenance. And also, project management is a planning methodology for project business. You can use GAN, PER, critical path method, critical chain, PMBOK, and also the Lean process and product management methodologies. Okay, let's me to introduce Leandro Fernandez. Leandro Fernandez is the Lean BIM manager at COSAPI. COSAPI is one of the largest construction companies in Peru. COSAPI, like a company, like a large experience using the Lean management in construction business as a management model, and also using the current software design and management tools called BIM, Building Information Modeling, and also the project management methodologies. Welcome, Leandro, to be today with us and to share COSAPI experience in this interesting topic. Please, Leandro.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay, thank you, Leandro, to be with us.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. First, thank you, August. First and foremost, I'm very grateful to August Casanovas and the Lean Global Connection for this invitation. Good morning, afternoon, or evening for everybody. It's my pleasure to make this presentation. My name is Leandro Fernandez. I am BIM chief from COSAPI, the largest construction company in Peru. Okay.
Since we don't have much time, I quickly explain the core of my BIM implementation, align it to 5 steps. Our agenda is very simple, but at the same time very diverse in its content. I will give a brief but diverse theoretical introduction. Just talk about some BIM concepts. And then I would like to talk about a recent project in which we are successfully implementing BIM. Now, I would like to start with a reflection. That is, a few years ago, we couldn't talk about prototype in the construction industry. But we can ask us what a prototype is important. A prototype in any industry is very important because it allows us to prevent future mistakes. Obviously, in construction industry, we cannot build a building like a prototype, make all the mistakes there, then demolish it, and then build the real building. It would be crazy. However, today, we already have a prototype, a construction industry prototype, a digital prototype, in which we can make mistakes and then build the real building. It is very important. It's a such difference since some years ago. With the goals of reducing variability, mistakes and rejobs, change orders, information requirements, that it would only a problem with the design phase, and obviously improve the multidisciplinary collaboration, our productivity, and optimize the win-win relations. BIM is made up for three acronyms: B for building, I for information, and M for modeling. Although we would like to see them independently, in reality, the multiplication of their effects generates that we can achieve BIM objectives. Now, we need to know what is BIM. But first, I should say that in general, there is not a kind of international consensus about BIM, about what is BIM. We're going to say that BIM is a technology that allows the digital representation, but what allows us to represent digitally? The physical and functional characteristics of a project during its design, construction, and facility management. Okay? Facilitating the acquisition, integration, review, processing, simulation, visualization, and automation of project information. And I wish we can go acronym by acronym, reviewing the concepts. First, let's talk about the M for modeling. Modeling is about the tools that allow us to digitize the project. There is no one type of BIM solver. There are many solvers for any type of project, and generally, BIM is just associated only with Revit, which is a serious mistake. There are a lot of kind of solvers BIM, and we need to understand what we want to do to apply or try to implement BIM. Now, I would like to talk about the B of building. Generally, we only associated building with offices, malls, hospitals, but there is just one type of project where we can apply BIM. Also, we can apply BIM in industrial plants, in mining projects, where model development is quite advanced. Also, roads infrastructure projects. Bridges. This, for example, is the Nanat Bridge in northern Peru, a bridge that we finished 1 month ago, and in which BIM was implemented. Projects in general, such as levees. And finally, we come to the most important acronym of BIM, the A. The A for information. Information is the new electricity. Those who can master their information are one step ahead of the rest. That is fact. We can say that BIM is basically a kind of information technology associated with the world of construction, from which we have two types of information. The graphic information related to the 3D model and the visible objectives, and the most important, non-graphic information linked to the data, which allows managing the most relevant information of the project. All these transform BIM into a graphical database that is structured, centralized, and integrated. Now, I would like to talk about the project that I mentioned at the beginning. Since it will make the presentation much more practical. This is the Lata Hospital, a hospital located in Guadalajara region in Peru. The hospital consists in a constructed area of 10,947 square meters, 43 beds, whose construction and equipment must be built in 22 months. The construction of the hospital will improve the hospital capacity of the Womalis region, which will benefit more than 47,000 citizens, which is very important in this time. All of this will help us explain BIM work framework of this project. First, all the implementation must start from an objective, obviously. In this case, the client's objective and the project's objective. My client's objectives is deliver the Lata Hospital to improve the hospital capacity of the Womalis province that will benefit more than 47,000 citizens. Then, the objective of the project, which is build a hospital in the time established for its operation, for which, for BIM, we must generate a construction model that allows integrating information to optimize the programming, design, and control process. For Lean will allow us to add value and reduce wastes in the traditional process, to optimize the traditional planning, design, and control process based on this integrated information that we had at the beginning of the project. This, added to integrated concurrent engineering, will allow us integrate the project team to identify and solve incompatibilities in the design and improve construction strategies. And in this way, achieve the objective set. My objectives aligned to BIM are optimize the planning, scheduling, and control strategies, as well as the compatibilization of the design to ensure the delivery time of 22 months for the Lata Hospital. This integration of information is a common and terrible problem in construction projects and a very risky in hospital projects. But it is exactly a good opportunity to show the benefits of BIM. In this way, we need to know the context prior to the implementation. At the beginning of the implementation, we had a process of transfer of knowledge to the project team to be able to explain what is being, what we want about Lean and how it works. Obviously, we need a lot of capacitation for the people. From this, we had meetings with the project team to map the traditional process that they planned to carry out. And it is interesting how Amon himself, they didn't know what the other areas were doing, what the other departments were doing. They didn't know. Do these meetings, we modeled the traditional integrated process to be able to identify any variability. We had meetings with the project teams to carry out a new integrated process where BIM process were integrated to optimize the previous flow, where we also defined control points in this flow. We can see it. We put some points in the flow to try to control and make a measure about it. In this way, we were able to consolidate the flow to develop the planning and scheduling, the compatibility of the design, and the control of the project execution. It is important to consider that we must not only model the product, we must also model the process. The process is very important if we want to implement BIM. The process is the most important way to understand how we can make a good model to help to the project. It is a very important thing. Planning, scheduling, contextualization, design, execution plan. From this, we start with the BIM implementation process where we apply different BIM uses, for which we need a starting point to understand the scope that the BIM model would have in the project. So we work with the 7 dimensions of BIM: 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, just to measure the implementation of each dimension, where we take different BIM uses for 3D to take advantage of the information of the model and solve problems in the design, and in 4D to optimize the construction states. We modeled all hospital disciplines. This was a difficult job because in a hospital we have a great variety of main and secondary networks, especially in the main corridors. And this project was designed in CAD information, so the mistakes and the issues were too many. Then we also integrate it in a single model and share it through a common data environment called Revisto. It is a useful tool which allows us to have the latest version of the project with access for everyone. And also, it works in the cloud. And a very important thing for me is that it is easy to use for anyone. So if we want to improve the learning curve, we need to look for an easy use platform. Obviously, we want to improve the BIM implementation. And the main benefit of this kind of platform is not only coordination, but also collaboration. So it allows us to share issues in the cloud to be able to solve them. Since the success of this kind of tool is that the team members participate and use it, we decide to monitor their use. And how I told you a moment, it is easy to use and it is an important thing. These graphs allow us to know the interaction that people are having with these tools in addition to the people trained in it. That is why I decided to call it BIM rate, because it works as a way to see how alive BIM is in the project, ideally keeping the rate high. In this case, the project started with a good curve rate, but in March, we had a stoppage due to the quarantine for the coronavirus, which caused the heart rate to drop to 0, but then it's coming back to life. It allows us to understand how the people will use the platform, because it means that the people is looking the BIM model. Of course, since we must manage the issue, we must measure the solution of them. For example, this graph shows the number of issues if they are open, in progress, solved, or closed. It allows us to measure and understand how the information is working, and also to know the status of issues according, for example, to the level of the building, to be able to prioritize their solutions. Also, one of the most important applications was the support information from the BIM model to allocating resources to the project schedule according to the work breakdown structure. Because on the one hand, we had this work breakdown structure in PDF, and on the other hand, we have the schedule information aligned to the WBS information in a PDF too, created in Primavera P6. For the structured discipline, for example, we decided to integrate this information into the BIM model, both to work each of the work areas, as well as the construction packages. So we can see how can we parameter all the areas to know the packages of construction. We code each element to form build packages. And it was possible to know each one of the construction packages assigned according to its code in the work breakdown structure. This allows us to identify some inconsistencies and lack of information of some elements not located correctly in the WBS. In fact, the project control manager didn't detail it correctly because the information in CAD doesn't allow him to know the detail of the scope with precision. For example, here the retaining walls were not located in a package. We discovered this, and together we developed a suitable way to locate it in the packages. Because of this information added to the BIM model and the schedule, the resources couldn't be allocated to the schedule to obtain more accuracy histograms. This is how we create these summary sheets, from which we can also obtain quantities. And what can we see here on side? In fact, in an interview with Jose Catacora, the project control manager, he told us the following. This progress we have had with BIM regarding quantities has been very interesting. In other projects, I have suffered a lot to obtain this information. For other projects, I prioritized only with percentages to have an approximated idea of the scope. I would like to repeat it. Approximated idea of the scope and to be able to control the progress process. Now that we have it, BIM, it motivated us to promote our work more. It was something that I didn't even remotely think we would have in the hospital. It is very important to us that we are finally implemented is useful to others. We also worked on improving planning. We had integrated concurrent engineering sessions together with the site engineers. We promoted better attacks strategies for the project, from which the milestone reflected in the BIM model came out. For each month, October, November, December, with the aim that everyone understands that we are going to build, even the masons, everyone. April, May, June. This also allows us to generate for the simulation. Also, it helps us For example, for the last planner sessions, it is useful for the site teams, for example, everyone. In which, for example, one of the most relevant things that was to realize that it was necessary by February was to accelerate the construction of this roof, because that time is the one with the highest rainfall in Guamalies, and it wouldn't allow us to work in that time in that area. So we check the possibility to accelerate the roof process of this area in such a way as the prevent rains from allowing to work. And we made it. In this way, for the BIM uses proposed, both in 3D and 4D, we are monitoring their progress over the month. In the same way, about the I sessions, at the beginning, I sessions were carried out in the COSAPI BIM room. Sometime after this, a BIM room was implemented in the project offices. And we were able to develop some I session even before the mandatory quarantine in Peru, the stoppage of the project. We have some photos about it. We can see here team working on the one hand with 360 photographs, monitoring what has been done on site. On the other hand, a BIM coordinator, the BIM coordinator of this project, working with the BIM model. But obviously now, in this new reality, we have moved to the I session to the digital world. It still has the same powerful concept of collaborating with a team to solve all the issues. We have sessions with the design members, the contractor members, and also the BIM team to try to find different ways to solve the issues or the problems that we have.
Leandro, time.
Oh, sorry, August. Okay. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Your final conclusion, please.
Yes, of course. Well, I would like to say that in this case, maybe just to finish it.
Finally, I would like to end my presentation with a phrase that it consists with my presentation, but above all, it has to do with the spirit of BIM. One person goes fast, but a team goes farther. This is important to understand that if we work as a team, we will be able to carry the project forward. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you again for the invitation.
Okay. Thank you, Leandro, to you to share with us your experience.